You will recognise this next poet not only as the largest man in the world of poetry and the most booming man, but also as my co-host at Hammer and Tongue. Can you please welcome the magnificent Mike Parker!
Hello, I grew up with rock, so I just need to check if I can step out here. Oh yes, I can. Fabulous. Okay, I'm feeling comfortable here now. I wrote a poem. A magnificent slam-winning poem. It zoomed in exactly 2 minutes 15, and in that short time there was such rhythm and rhyme to my rhetoric. My references to contemporary issues and events were of such wit, scintillating sarcasm and rapid repartee. The Kalashnikov rat-a-tat-tat of my consonants was so clean, so clinically quick, so vorsprung durch technique, that you would not have been able to sit for 1 second longer than the ringing of my final vowel in the air, but would have leapt to your feet to declare your joy, to join with me in a triumphant cathedral crescendo! Oh! You would have loved it. And you would have loved me. And I would have grinned like a boy as you hailed me, master observer of the human condition. Holder, beholder of power and calm. Voice of the people of the planet forever. Our poet king. And we would stand together, glowing in the charm. And for one warm summer meadow moment of 100 bells chiming, we would have known unity of purpose, the flush of liberté, égalité, fraternité, in our hearts, in the blood of our cheeks, in our eyes, yes, our eyes, each filled with a fresh flash flood of emotional release, cleansed immediately away as we tightly squeezed them closed, deeply inhaled the ecstatic realization of our sparkling new intuitive perspectives. And as the ineffective single-use contact lenses of cynicism dropped from our eyes, we would turn to each other, look deeply into each other, and love unconditionally. Love. Oh, you would have loved it. We would have overflowed, and there would be nothing, magnificent nothing to fear.
Next up, we have got a guy who is quite literally the nicest man in the world. So if you are in this audience and you are a man and you know a man, this is the guy to aspire to. If you've been to Hammer and Tongue, you will know him. He is my co-host at Hammer and Tongue. He's a fucking excellent guy. Like Tom Hines, he's been at this event since the very, very beginning. Can you please welcome Michael James Parker?
Hello. We few. We happy few. We band of brothers and sisters, we riskers of life and limb, or at the very least of our pockets, our wallets, or our popular social standing for all that we believe in. We stand together.
We asking questions in a land of the unquestioning. We questing while laureled heads are resting. We hosting as freely as guesting. We teaching when we've been instructed to be testing. We pointing out the ridiculous, not just pointless jesting. We switching off the TV, doing something more interesting. We deeply, communally, sustainably investing. We recognizing, honoring, counting and owning our own and each other's blessings. We stand together. We few. We happy few. We band of brothers and sisters, we resistors of manipulation, we facilitation assisters, we men, women and children of action, just getting on with our own revolution that will not be televised, will not be captured on iPhones and set loose on YouTube. This is it happening here. We are it. We stand together. We the music makers and we the dreamers of dreams, we the hopers, comedians and jubilee librarians, we free rangers, forest rangers, lone rangers, power rangers, mentors, mentees, mentalists and meant-to-bees, we sun-kissed, clenched fist, anarchist, activists, we cyclers, recyclers, free cyclers, menstrual cyclers, tree huggers, ear muggers, levelers and diggers and all of society's constructors, deconstructors and reconstructors, lover, warrior, magician and our own blessed majesties. We stand together. Oh, yes, we few. We happy few. We band of brothers and sisters, we poets and masters of these amazing ceremonies, who heard in a furious flash the message and knew in that moment that we had a message to share. We stand together. We separated painfully at birth from the planet and sometime in childhood cut off from humanity, and as soon as we thought that we had it, split off from ourselves, half dreaming of heaven, half walking in hell, or 7 parts woman and 3 parts man, or 3/4 coping and 1/4 mad, while 8 out of 10 cats don't give a damn about the other 2. We cats do. We are the 99%. And what's more, we remember that story about the one lost sheep. We are looking out for you. We stand together. Thank you.
Please welcome Mike Parker.
This doesn't make sense. How can I stand here and spit specious aspersions upon your style of spoken word when I have nothing but respect for your skills? Most prob, you're a poet. Anytime you want to do a spliff, Richard, and split from the strict restrictions of sitting one side of the fence or the other, and brother, step over into our open arms. You know it makes sense. Tom, Ed, where are you? That thing you do with the letters is amazing. The percussive pitter-patter of particular consonants, especially the plosive, explosive, and utterances utterly devoid of any comma, semicolon, or stop, or any kind of punctuated apple for you're actually breathing. Man, that's impressive. If I tried that, I'm betting my letters would be getting kind of messy, but you spit out syllables like you've overfilled your silly grin with alphabetic spaghetti. And I reckon if ever you slow down enough to let some breath in between the words, a little bit of it might even make sense. You never know. And Rick, ditto. Tom, it It doesn't make sense. How can I reconcile this charming man with the beast upon stage, who will tear me apart, savage me, and feast upon the bleeding heart of his enemy? I find myself thinking, what will you do when you're a daddy? Will you be the big bad wolf or the handsome prince? Will Daddy Hines growl, who's been eating my porridge, while I've been out in the forest encouraging baby Hines to forage for original lines and crazy rhymes to bring back to the cottage? Will you cipher over diapers like there's only one survivor? Will you wrap up your child in cotton wool lyrical lullabies? Will wise old Heinz's bars be for safety round the cot? Will your flow be not too hot and not too cold? What happens when rappers get old? Maybe it'll all make sense. John, that thing that you do when you ask for 3 things from the audience and then form it into glorious verse with just the speed of your mind, I'd like to do that. If ever I find I've run out of ideas of my own. I'd like to set you a challenge. Can you make sense?
But just before you say something, don't you reckon the idea of a challenge would suggest that you could do it yourself in the first place, so that I would feel challenged? It's like Ramsky was saying, if you could turn yourself backwards, the basketball net behind you, and get it through the hoop, then I might be slightly impressed. Join with us, brother. Join with us. Join us. What do you reckon, people? If he can dance to his own music, then we'll have it.
What? You're saying I should freestyle?
I've seen it, brother. When you've been drunken and sequestered away in my living room or like spots away from the public eye. Fucking right, you're a human construction site.
But I'm a poet, I am slow, it comes very uneasily to me. My rhythm isn't free, I've got a funk that's of a different style to you, punk, and I don't really know if I can stand on my toes and tiptoe around this stage making words up and coming up with a rage that's gonna beat the fuck out of you guys, because I don't know where this comes from. I don't know where my ideas are gonna go and where my words are gonna flow and where we're gonna go after this, probably down the pub for a pint, yes, but I got something that you ain't got, and that's the function to edit where it's got. Oh, I sit back, I've got words I could say and play with and then sit and say, do you know what, I don't think I've got it quite right, maybe I'll flip this over and say it, oh, just like that. So, here's that challenge, mates. Here's that challenge. Can you make sense of this?
1 minute.
1. That feeling of pain as the electricity within my brain reaches a level of insane activity and throws my epileptic body to the ground. 2. That burden of care of Sarah, Joseph, Ruth and Naomi becomes scarily aware of the delicate precariousness of life by the tearing of my mouth and tender heart. 3. This perfect pleasure, this treasure, like a smooth, brightened pebble in my hand as I stand by the sea. Oh, this joy, this peace, love and understanding, this sheer joy of just standing together.
Let's do it. That was beautiful.
Yes,
Michael
man.
Parker, ladies and gentlemen.
Michael Parker.
That's heavy nuts.